let's go right into it. So we don't have the full band today. We have Brandon and myself. Miranda is dealing with Miranda things this afternoon. So it'll just be Brandon and I. And today's topic is going to be on the topic of conversion therapy. Oh, here, Brandon, let me do this. I'm going to send you the text from, and we can onesie twosie this.
Onesie twosie.
Yeah, onesie twosie. And
Oh,
I'm gonna Substack DM you the text.
okay. Let's see.
So that you can sort of dredge that out. There you go. So I'll read the first one and then relay the experience, and then you can go to the next one and relay that experience, and then we can when we're talking about the. So I'll read the first one, then we can talk about the annihilation issue and the religious weaponization issue, and then I'll let you read the Matthew Scott Montgomery account. Which, by the way, I don't know if you know, he was a Disney kid.
Matthew Scott Montgomery.
Yes.
What was he?
He was on a Disney Channel show
Oh,
that was decidedly Christian friendly, and he was going through conversion therapy at the same time. And then I'll read the Ryan one, and then we can talk about the aftermath. We can go back and forth in the aftermath. So that's the body of the text. So I'm going to start with our talk about conversion. What is conversion therapy? So from today's article about conversion therapy, I should say that outright, is I want to paint a picture for you. This is how it started. Albert Notzing, who was a German psychiatrist, claims, and by psychiatrists, they use that term very loosely. Notzing was a hypnotist, and he claimed back in 1899 that through a series of, and I know you're going to laugh when I say this, Brandon, through a series of 45 sessions and repeated visits to a brothel, he successfully converted a gay man into a heterosexual man.
45 visits to a brothel.
Well, 45
sessions. Oh, sessions. Oh.
With numerous visits to a brothel.
Oh, I see.
And he made a gay man straight. And that's the birthing of conversion therapy, which is nightmarishly bad. So then Eugene Steineck, who was an endocrinologist in Austria, theorized that homosexual lives in your testicles. Your homosexuality, Brandon, lives inside your testicles.
Oh, wow.
So he theorized that if you transplant a straight man's balls to a gay man, it will make them straight.
Oh my gosh. What year was this?
Early 1900s. So, then came aversion therapy. And so aversion therapy was a Christian-based deal. So let me paint a picture for you regarding conversion therapy. So one of the early practices, I'll just take you through the whole thing. So on the one hand, one of the things that most Christian conversion therapy programs make you do is you show up, you either go to a camp or you're confined to a location where you can't leave until the session is over, which can take days, sometimes weeks. Whoops. And so, um, based on my experience, um, one of the first things that happens is they make you wear a backpack. In the backpack, you have to put rocks between 40, 50, 60, and 70 pounds of rocks. And then you put that on your back. And you know what they tell you that is?
That's the
That
weight you're carrying from the
that's the
homosexuality.
yes, that's the burden of you being gay or
Ah,
trans
yeah,
that's
of course.
on you. And
Yeah,
so there is this narrative that they repeatedly perpetuate, that being gay is a burden, and you associate being gay or trans as being a burden. Then there are a perpetual amount of um, guilt sessions, and that being gay is a choice, or being trans is a choice, or being Onyx. It's a very intense subject today, and we have space if you want to come in and co-host with us. Onyx, just ask and we'll do it. But so aversion therapy is constant Christian guilt. And then again, from experience, most involve electroshock therapy. So the account from um, Carolyn Mercer, who grew up in the UK, um, they sat her down in a chair that had metal rods born into the armrests, and she had to grab them, and then she was shown heterosexual behavior and homosexual behavior in video streams. And if she became aroused during the homosexual streams, she was immediately shot.
hmm
And again, speaking from experience, that shock is not like a mild electrostatic shock. It's a shock that when it hits you, it almost forces you to slide your hands up the bars. And they go like 2.5 feet, in the air from the armrest of the chair you're sitting in. And so the way that Carolyn Mercer describes it, she says, electrodes were soaked in salt water to increase connectivity. Um, you know, and the shock levels that they indicated on her were meant to be painful. Um, and so, and so she describes this experience of my hands are tied to these poles. So they tied her hands to them.
hmm
She couldn't pull them away. Um, and whenever there was an arousing experience, it was a shock enough that it immediately caused her to cry. That's how painful we're talking. And it was repeated over and over and over and over and over again. Um, so that is early 60s era, late 60s, early 70s era conversion therapy to
So
convince.
the backpack I assume like if you hit certain milestones or if you respond the right way, they remove a rock or so or something until
Yeah, yeah. Again, speaking from experience, the backpack got down to about 30 pounds. You know, that was that was about the extent of it. And here's the thing for myself, um, the conversion lasted a few months, handful of months. Um, for me personally, after 6 months, I was right back to
yeah.
this is what I am, and actually, really, I think because this happened when I was younger, um, and I agreed to it like a dumb shit, of course, but anyway, um, it profoundly compounded my ability to punish myself, which, if you read my autobiography, don't read it. If somebody sends you a link in the chat, don't read it. Brandon, I'm telling you not to do that. Um, you know, um, I was very good in my early 20s about torturing myself. And Wendy's voice was in the back of my head, and I did anything that I could to just shut her the fuck up because I did not want to hear her voice at all. I was done with it. And so, um, that's, but I, let me ask you this because this is next in the topic list. The weaponization of shame. Did that happen to you when you were younger? Because religious weaponization of shame is a control method that they use in conversion therapy.
Yeah, definitely. Guilt and shame. My family was pretty good at using the guilt trips, and that was passed on like from my grandmother to my mother. And that's just how it was. I don't think a lot of times that she even knows she's doing it. It's just, that's how she was raised and treated, and that's how she treated her kids and other people. It was, to get somebody to do what you want them to do. Guilt can be an effective method. And of course, in the church, guilt and shame were used because talking about sinning, and if you do these things, if you are this way, you will go to hell. If you don't do this, you won't go to heaven. That kind of thing. I never went through conversion therapy. First time I don't know if it's the first time uh, well, it's the first time I ever saw anything about it was that the movie Boy Erased.
Oh gosh, that movie.
And fortunately, the result of that one was, it turned out okay in the end, but um, yeah, it was really sad to watch some of that and to know what they had to go through and how some people committed suicide because of what they went through. But yeah, fortunately, I didn't go through that.
Right. So why don't you read through the Matthew the Matthew Montgomery account? I sent that over to you.
Oh yeah. Let's see. How far?
It's about halfway,
Okay.
which I want to quantify while you're looking at that. Um, the thing that Matthew Scott Montgomery is known for um, is um, he he was um, in a series of movies. The one that he's most known for is Gone but Not Forgotten, um, which
Yeah,
is
I don't know that.
which was an interesting movie. The other thing that he did was he was on Disney for something, um, and I um, here you go, Matthew Scott Montgomery. He was on the show So Random.
So random.
Yep, So Random on Disney, which was a sketch comedy series on the Disney Channel. And Demi Lovato was on that show,
Oh, okay.
and there were a few others, but the his account is difficult, so that's why I
So he was living the supposed dream on his days off. This very, very conservative parents were sending him to conversion therapy. The place his father sent him sold itself with a claim that should make your blood run cold. You look at a billboard in LA and see any male actor, they've been through these walls before. If that's true, and given how many gay men in Hollywood have confirmed similar experiences, it probably is, then we're talking about an entire industry of successful, talented queer people who were tortured before they could achieve their dreams. How many actors have smiled on red carpets while carrying trauma from holding silver rods in their hands, feeling electricity surge through them as a punishment for imagining hugging a man?
yes, yes, very much so.
And some of the ideology is there's no such thing as a gay man, just straight boys with sensitive artistic temperaments and emotionally overbearing mothers and emotionally unavailable fathers. It's victim blaming, wrapped in pseudoscience, wrapped in homophobia. Your queerness isn't real, it's your parents' fault. You're not gay, you're damaged. You don't need acceptance, you need fixing. The framework does devastating psychological work. Tells queer people that their identity is a symptom, a malfunction, a wound that hasn't healed. It kind of reminds me of like when you were talking earlier about that they believed homosexuality was contained in the testicles and that you could just re- remove them, replace them with a straight man's testicles. That I had never heard that before. That's pretty far out there. But it kind of
Well, I
reminds
mean,
me. Oh,
that
go
was
ahead.
early 1900s, so
Yeah, I mean there were a lot of kind of crazy theories, I guess, at that time.
right.
But it's actually not that far removed from what some people believe today. Um,
No.
because I've heard not too long ago that of the discussion of um, giving sex offenders a a drug that would kind of eliminate their ability to have an erection. Kind of chemical castration.
Yes. So here's the deal. Spironolactone. So when you're a trans person, Onyx can probably acknowledge this, but spironolactone is a diuretic. And on top of it being a diuretic, it is also a T blocker. And so spironolactone was used to chemically castrate people long before it was ever used as a methodology to block testosterone if you were a male to female transitioning person. As a matter of fact, a very crude form of spironolactone was given to Alan Turing
Oh yeah.
to stop him from being gay. So chemical castration has been a thing for a while. It's really, and it's scary pseudoscience to say if I block all the, and here was the not the funny thing, but the kind of ironic thing was that in Turing's case, they were blocking all of his testosterone, so he actually developed breasts while he was in prison for being gay. And so, yeah, it's um when I was a psychology major and I had done a couple of practicums, there was uh there was an analysis subject who was a rapist that they'd chemically castrated. And I mean, he had bigger boobs than I do. But when you block here's the thing, I, not to gross anybody out, but when you go on T blockers, there's a thing that we say in the trans community, and it's called use it or lose it. So if you don't use it, yeah, you'll go into atrophy and you'll stop having those experiences. But if you actively stimulate yourself, chemical castration is not going to stop you from feeling those feelings.
Well, it's the feelings don't start in the testicles or in the in the genitalia. Right? Exactly. That's what I don't understand. I mean, even like I said, even today, it's not that far from the early 1900s. Like people are saying, oh, if we just castrate them, do you not understand that the feelings begin in your mind? It's it's
Desire,
so
love, and emotion, and feeling, and desire, and sexual attraction,
yeah.
those are all genetic chemical reactions that happen up here. They don't happen down there. The thing up
Yeah.
here says, woo! And then the shit downstairs says, oh, okay.
People react to things that they don't understand. They hear something like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense," but there's so much about the brain that is still a mystery. But people, I think people react to how they feel rather than, uh, you know, react to something that they don't know about. The unknown is like they're scared of it, and I don't know if I'm making sense right now. I had a train of thought, and I'm kind
No,
of
no, no. There's a fear about that. So we all know who James Dobson is, right?
yes,
Okay. So Dobson was a progenitor of conversion therapy.
yeah, I read that.
And so focused on the family in Colorado Springs.
Yeah,
And so I found an account of a kid, not a kid, found an account of a sister of a teenager who had gone through Dobson's conversion therapy. And the things that I read in the account paralleled many of the things that I understood myself. And um, so they made him at 16 years old carry around a 50-pound backpack with rocks all day long, uh, teaching him that the backpack was the burden of him being gay. Um, and then they forced him and other children to watch heterosexual pornography,
Hmm.
which was an attempt to deprogram their queer LGBTQIA emotional urges. And then um, the men who ran the program would laugh and ridicule all of the queer kids who didn't follow the program or fall in line. But the thing about Dobson's conversion therapy process that was the thing that scared me the most about it was at the end of it all, um, there was the grand finale, and the grand finale for a male identifying child um, was basically to go into an empty room with a heterosexual woman who would then have sex with them.
Mm.
A 16-year-old did this. And the uber Christian and uber far right wing Dobson approved of this because he thought that would cure somebody of being gay. Now, here's the deal. Um, the sister in the account, because she grew up in a very conservative environment, knew other kids who had gone into a focus on the family camp. And she confirmed that over half of those kids were since dead
Mm.
from unaliving themselves. And so, now, Nikki, there's not a cure. You can't cure human nature. I don't care what anyone tells you. You just can't. But the creepiest, the even creepiest thing about it is the fact that James Dobson, who contended there was God on earth and all the other far right Christian bullshit, believed that putting a 16-year-old gay boy in a room with a heterosexual woman and forcing that 16-year-old gay boy to have sex with a woman would cure him of being gay.
Yeah.
No. And so, that layered against the Ryan Robertson account, which was really hard because Ryan Robertson killed himself. And the way his mom talks about it, she tells him, um, you know, you know, when she thinks back, um, during those first years, um, you know, she says to him, "You have to choose between Jesus and your family and homosexuality." And um, and I think that she didn't realize that by doing that to him, she had convinced him to hate himself.
Yeah.
And so he, with reckless abandon and lack of complete caution in his life, in his later teen years, started abusing drugs,
Yeah.
ran away, turn into a cocaine addict, turn into a heroin addict. And, you know, it had been like 18 months, almost 2 years, that he was no contact with his family. And then he decided he needed to get clean. And his, like his mother, the way his mother tells the story, we found him. And the person that we saw almost 2 years later was not the person that left.
Right.
Like he had done so much damage to himself from a drug perspective and from an self-inflicted abuse perspective. Um, he'd lost his teeth, all of that. Um, and so he tried to get clean, and he went into drug recovery and alcohol recovery. And the way she describes it is, she said, I had finally learned how to love my son, and I was happy uh, in that time. And then one evening, in a moment of relapse, her son went out for pizza with his friends, shot up, got a bad batch, and it killed him. And that was the first time that he'd used drugs in months, and it was the last time that he would ever use drugs again, because he died in 2009. And so the very painful thing, and this, I can't watch her account. There's a film about it. Just search for Ryan Robertson. You'll find it.
Mm.
it it's very painful. She says, we prayed for Jesus to not give us a gay son. And that prayer was answered, because we no longer have a gay son. We have a dead son. And that's wrong. And that hurts. And that's why conversion therapy is so profoundly damaging. Um,
Yeah.
to people that have to go through it.
And now they're trying to bring it back.
Yeah. So all signs point to, and so here's how that's being teed up. Let me explain that to you. So, Kaylee Childs is a
Right.
Christian licensed therapist in Colorado, and she engaged in approached conversion therapy. If she were approached by people who willfully sought out conversion therapy with her, she would provide it. Well, Colorado banned conversion therapy. And she took up a case where she said that me not being able to provide conversion therapy to individuals who seek me for that therapy is a violation of my religion and a violation of my freedom of speech. And that's
Yeah.
how it got that's how it got all the way the fuck up the SCOTUS.
Yeah. The freedom of speech is what I saw in the article that I read. I also read that it was not that she may not have been the one to initiate this. It was a religious organization. I can't. Oh shoot, I can't remember the name of it. A firm. Can't remember, but there's a conservative religious organization that's kind of using her as their mouthpiece, basically.
Right.
Uh, Now I looked it up once before, but now I can't.
Keep talking.
Yeah. Anyway, I read an article by Kenyon KR Byers, and it was let's see, where did I put that? Praying the Gay Away: Why MAGA's Obsession is Pure Depravity.
Right.
And I talked to him about that last week on a live, about just, about how horrible conversion therapy is and what it's doing to kids and people in general. But yeah, we
Nikki,
need more people.
I'll give you my signal, and then you can message me on Signal and ask.
We need more people, especially outside the LGBTQ plus community, to advocate for getting rid of conversion therapy, because
Here's the
our
thing.
voices aren't enough.
Yeah, here's the thing. There needs to be a larger body of allyship to
Yeah,
fall outside of that scope to stop all of the initiatives that they push against us. For instance, SCOTUS is here in Colorado's ban this week. Next month, they're going to hear arguments over marriage equality.
right.
And so we're back to a place where it's discriminatory against us. Um, to live and be human beings. Um, I mean, I'm going to Augusta, Georgia in 5 hours. I can't tell you. I'm literally like, okay, I'm going to put on black, jet black leggings, a pair of slouch boots, and a blouse. And that's as woman as I'm doing in that town, because that town is a very red town.
Yeah,
Um, that's a very red town. And, the people that live there are not, I mean, even the golfing community, hell, golfing is probably one of the most Republican toxic sports that exist. Um, so yeah. So Childs claims that Colorado law censors licensed counselors by prohibiting them from having conversations with minor clients about gender identity and sexual orientation. She argues that the law specifically targets counseling that is consistent with a traditional Christian worldview and a client's desire to align with their biological sex. Here's the thing. Here's the question I ask you, Brandon, is a client has that. How many kids are guilted by their parents into believing that?
yeah, yeah. It's not the child's choice that they're going to therapy. I mean, they may voice it, but the reason behind it is that their parents are telling them that it's wrong. They've drilled that into them. And the American Psychological Association, along with 28 other medical professional organizations, have said that this conversion therapy is dangerous and detrimental. And yet, people's belief, their own belief in, influenced by their religion, causes them to ignore all that and say, no, we're going to do it anyway. We don't believe that shit. It's just it's just crazy how people will ignore all uh, professional advice and just go with whatever they think is right.
Well, let me break this down for you. Um, Conversion therapy is antithetical to therapy. It is. Therapy isn't about changing a person's identity. If you're an agoraphobic or you're, um, an emetophobic, or if you're, you know, if you're schizophrenic, um, therapy is about helping people become more authentically themselves, processing trauma, developing coping mechanisms for dealing with issues, and improving overall mental health. From a psychiatric perspective, that's you medicate to help you deal. If you're borderline personality disorder, or you're bipolar, or you're antisocial personality disorder, or you're, any of those things. But at its core, therapy is not about changing your person. Therapy is about acknowledging that you have this issue. I'm going to help you cope with it, and I'm going to improve your mental health. And I want to point out that's the important part. I'm going to improve your mental health.
Right.
If you go through conversion therapy and conversion therapy shames you and guilts you and drives you to hate yourself, then you are not going to achieve better mental health. It'll make your mental health worse. And so, as a therapist, um, you know, there's an aftermath. People have worked with clients who have been through conversion therapy that I know, and the trauma is profound and it's layered and it's devastating and it's painful.
One thing
Years of work to undo that damage.
one thing that's kind of funny is that most uh, Christians traditionally do not agree with therapy in general. Um, they don't. You aren't. You're not supposed to go to a therapist or a counselor or psychologist to fix any of your problems. All you need to do is pray about it. They now with the um, with the development of like specifically Christian therapy, some of them have kind of consented now. Well, okay, you can go to therapy, but as long as it is a Christian based therapist. But yeah, it's just so funny that conversion therapy is okay, not any other kind of, you don't go to just a regular therapist or psychologist that was indoctrinated with liberal ideology in college, but you can go to conversion therapy or a Christian therapist and be even more screwed up when you get out of that.
Um, yeah, which is that just makes it worse, in my opinion. I hate to say it, but it really does. Um, you know, that comparison is just visceral. Um, I mean, enough for the state of Colorado to ban it to begin with.
Yeah.
And I think they tried to do it. they tried to do it in Ohio. And those bans proved that conversion therapy can be stopped, um, and that we can protect vulnerable people from that abuse that we would even want to. Um, but the fact that it's not banned everywhere, that it
Right. Yeah, that's
remains,
what one thing I was just thinking that it hasn't been. There's still several. I don't remember how many it was. Do you? I can't remember. They're like
20,
at least.
last count, 28 states where it's legal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. By the way, about 25% of those states actually have conversion therapy um, allowances that allow the black van therapy.
The what?
The black van therapy, you know what that is?
I guess not.
That you put your child in the program, they show up at your house at 1 a.m. in the morning, they storm your house, they take your child, zip tie their hands, throw them into the back of a van, and off they go, and you don't see your kid for a month.
That's not entirely surprising.
Texas is infamous for um, therapy camps, as they're called, where literally an abduction team abducts the child, puts them
Yeah.
through the therapy, and then returns them. Your kid's broken? Okay, we'll kidnap your kid under your watchful eye.
Right.
We'll fix your kid, and then we'll bring your kid back, and your kid will be okay.
I think parents should be charged with kidnapping for that. Even though they're giving their consent, I think there should be some kind of uh, prosecutable case
Offense,
against them.
yeah,
Yes.
against a parent who does that to their child. Because
Yeah.
Brandon, I'm just going to say this, and I would like for you to argue with me. Conversion therapy is torture.
Yeah.
Um, it's not a disagreement about best practices. It's not a debate about treatment methods. It's systemic, psychological, and physical abuse. Uh, and it is a profoundly negative experience. What do you want? What do you want? Well, come here. Hey, I said, come here. Okay, fine, go away. My cat hates me. My cat hates. Like you never see my cat. Psst, 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 psst. Come here.
That's right. I don't think I do. I mean, I think you've
Come
shown
here.
her.
Come here, kitty.
Is it her or him?
Oh, it's a him. Oh, it's a him.
Oh,
Oh, look,
he's
it's a kitty.
he's camera shy.
Oh, he's not camera. Oh, what? See there you go. That's it. That. Yep, yep.
All right, you want me over here? I'm gonna ruin your video. Oh, I think you pushed the mute button. I can't hear you.
I'm talking in a mute. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, the smell of conversion therapy is the smell of human rights violation. The sound is people crying and begging and sometimes screaming as they're told that their core identity is sinful and damaging and evil. And the taste is this bitter flavor of self-hatred that is forced fed into a mouth that doesn't really want it. Um, and the feeling is this crushing weight of invalidation. Um, the sharp sting of psychological manipulation paired with the dull ache of prolonged emotional abuse and the overall effect that it has. Um, and I'm just going to say, every day that conversion therapy remains legal in this country is one day too long. Every person that's forced to go through those experiences, um, you know, they really, for if that which thou seekest, thou findest not within thee, thou wilt never find without thee.
What was that? What's that from?
Um, a sister of my faith, Doreen Valente, who was the mother of modern witchcraft.
Oh, mm,
For if that which thou seekest, thou findest not within thee, thou wilt never find it without thee. I don't know that you can argue with that.
yeah.
Um, but conversion therapy literally tries to destroy what people find within themselves to replace a person's own truth with someone else's lie.
I think that is the ultimate goal of conservatives of this administration. If they can convert them, fine. If not, and they leave this earth, all the better.
Right.
I think because of what they're doing, like with the antiretroviral therapy and PrEP, I think they're going to at least try to make it so you can't get those free of charge anymore. Because right now they're covered by the law from the Affordable Care Act says that they're uh, all companies have to offer these for free of charge,
Right.
and in Medicaid companies. But
Right.
what I'm seeing is that they're going to remove that requirement, and nobody's going to be able to afford it. And now that we've got AIDS, down to where it's close to being eliminated, it's just it's gonna explode again.
We're going to be back to 80s era
Right.
HIV infections and AIDS deaths. And I watched too many, I'm old enough, I watched too many friends in the late 80s and early 90s who went through AIDS infections and died. And that's not something you want to watch.
Yeah.
Um, it really is not something you want to experience. And
But
if you did experience it, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
oh, no, you're fine. I was just gonna say, but what other reason would there be for them to cut that off? Why why else why would someone want to get rid of a life-saving treatments?
So I actually brought that up in the article today
Oh yeah.
as a sidestep. Let me pose this to you. Um, so Jürgen Habermas, philosopher, wrote about communicative rationality and the power of discourse to reach truth. But the problem is that in this case, the case of preactive retroviral drugs, the case of conversion therapy, the case of marriage equality, the case of queer freedoms. Um, there is no rational discourse to be had with people who believe that torture and death and suffering and pain and anguish and everything else is acceptable as long as it is directed at people they don't like.
Yeah.
And the only way to fight to protect that those who are vulnerable from the powerful, the authentic from the authoritarian, and the truth from the torturers is through action. So, as I said in today's article, get angry about it. I'm angry
Yeah.
about it. I stay in an angry state all the fucking time. Support legislation against it. Vote out every shitbird, fuckwad politician that um, says otherwise. Um, believe when a survivor says, I suffered this.
Yeah.
I had this pain. I had this experience. Um, listen to trans people like myself when we tell you that um, we need things. I had something happen at work on Wednesday, and I thought this was awesome. I was in a meeting and I was talking about things, and I had a coworker who, like, repeatedly in the chat, misgendered me like 5 times.
Mm.
And so on the fifth time, I just I was like, look, okay, I'm just gonna correct this person or whatever. And so my lateral coworker, Derek, the meeting's over, we all leave, and then like 4 minutes later, another like 5 minute session pops up, required meeting, like literally not minutes later, shows up. And so I was like, oh, I guess we missed something. All right, cool. I'll join that meeting. And so I still had my hair on or whatever. And so went into that meeting and all the people got in. And Derek was like, look, I want to be very clear about something. And I want everybody to listen. And if you don't get it, we're going to have another discussion with another person that you don't want to have a discussion with or whatever.
HR, I guess.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? Oh, okay. I'm like, and I told Derek, I was like, told him in the chat, I'm like, hey, I'm 100% behind whatever it is you're going to say. If I did something wrong, please just let me know, whatever. And so he says, she is a her, and she does things for herself. And if any of you don't see that she does things for herself, then you and I and another person are going to have a little chat. And so then, like, we had like 9 engineers on that call. And like immediately, 4 of the 8 or 9 engineers immediately sent me a DM. I am so sorry, Wendy. If I ever did that, I promise you I will never do that again. I fully respect your ability to be a woman, whatever. And so then my manager friend says, Wendy, do you have any thing to say. And I said, yes, I do. It's very simple. Um, Pointing at the window outside. I deal enough of that out there. I don't come to work to deal with it here. And I don't feel like I should deal with it here. And that's why it's difficult for me when I experience it here at work. And so if you're observant of that, thank you. I appreciate it. I got thick skin. I got fucking tattoos. I can put up with a lot of abuse, but I don't want to have to
Yeah.
when it's just, and that's the thing. When you impart that to people, that you experience that. I mean, not to use slurs, but I ride the train. I ride mass transit to get home after work every day. I guarantee you, I will get fagged at least twice on the train. And
Yeah.
I get hate eye and stink eye from people all the time. I have enough bandwidth to deal with that on public transit. I don't deal with it at home. And I don't have to deal with it. I shouldn't have to deal with it at work. And that's just how it is. So, right. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox now. And we're at the top of the hour. Brandon, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have anything that you want to close with?
I don't think so. Not that
Okay.
I can think of. I mean, I think we've said it all basically.
By the way, did you see your I sent you your dedication post?
I saw one. I don't.
Yes, I linked it. So for your cooking post, I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna do one of
Oh,
those.
okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one of those probably for you every week for a while. Because there are people in the other publication space that I get a lot of clickbacks to your YouTube videos. That
Oh,
post,
okay.
I had like 70 clickbacks.
Oh, wow.
And so there were, especially I was kind of shocked by this, um, the video with you, Aiden, and Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
I had like 20 clickbacks on that post. And so that
Actually,
attention,
oh, sorry. That one for me, I uploaded that as an audio podcast, and that's the second highest number of downloads that I've had on all my podcasts so far.
oh, awesome. Well, yeah, I used your YouTube links or whatever for that, but yeah, I had like 20. So if you get a bunch of subs or whatever, you'll know why. Um, and then yes, I've had another Hive publication approach me and say, "Can you do a feature on this person?" I'm like, "I'll do a feature on that person every week."
Oh boy. Oh, I should mention today at 4:30 I'm going live with Margaret Williams.
Ooh, ooh.
So she asked me like a month ago if I'd come on with her and do a live. So we scheduled it for today. So if anybody's free at that time, or
Uh,
4:30 Central, I believe. So
Send me her profile. I probably don't subscribe to her, but
maybe I don't know. She does a lot of. She's been doing a lot of interviews with a lot of different creators. She's very supportive, very dynamic speaker. she does a publication called The Empowered Leader.
Yep, just subscribed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just subscribed. Um, just that's amazing. Um,
So I'll be talking with her this afternoon.
um, great because I can give her link back. I will consider giving her. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely gonna cross link some of this. Anyway, cool. All right. Well, Brandon, next Monday we'll have Miranda back.
Yeah. We're
Uh,
gonna put it all on her.
yeah. Dude, Miranda, if you're listening or whatever, or you watch this later, you better have something on Monday. And I better cry too because if I don't, it's gonna suck. Anyway, Brandon, thank you.
Yep.
Everyone else that joined, thank you. Karen and Nikki and Yanni and anybody else that I missed. Um, and I will see everybody again on Sunday at 7:45, if not before. Um, wish me luck because I'm going to a convention this weekend.
Yes. Good luck. Break a leg, I guess. I'm not
Oh
sure.
yeah, I mean, I'm not
I mean,
presenting.
that's like a performance, so I guess,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm the spectator.
Maybe don't break a leg.
You're right. Don't break a leg. I'm the spectator in this activity. Not.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, have fun spectating.
Thank you much, Brandon. Thank you, everybody else.